just watched a video and shared it on Twitter X, of Tommy Robinson on Jeremy Paxman at Presumed Newsnight back in 2010, where Paxman, an aloof TV presenter at the end of the day with an exceptional education, who went on to host University Challenge, an academic I suppose you could call him, is faced with a working class lad who fought back against the system the only way he knew how. And later, as he grew up, realised that maybe that wasn't the way to do it, and he left his early beginnings of the EDL. But the media remind you of that every time they talk about him. And yet we've got people who have been in official jobs who have been looking at child porn. And it's not porn, is it? It's child abuse. We've got people who have managed to have a career at the BBC and get away with it for decades. Jimmy Savile, for one. When I watched the video of Tommy Robinson explaining what he saw happening in his hometown with the growing implications of Islamification, I saw a brave young man in the lion's den, really, the BBC, back in the day, 2010, when the BBC was still basically a trusted voice. They hadn't unearthed Jimmy Savile then. So, my thoughts are that Tommy Robinson, who's now sitting in jail because the Attorney General decided on putting him there. The Attorney General is a political appointment. He's a Labour peer working for a Labour government who's decided that for a victimless crime, which is what contempt is, there's no victim in this crime. Nobody's off work sick, nobody's injured, nobody's distressed. It's to sit in a jail cell for 18 months in solitary confinement, allegedly for his own protection, when other people who have had contempt of court sentences have been given open prisons, fines, ankle tags. I find it very harsh, especially when for decades Pakistani-led rape gangs have got away with it. They've got away with abuse of hundreds of thousands of children, and mainly because these people had also slotted themselves into society in powerful positions on councils and whatever influence they had within the police. How can a police service investigate when they get a directive from a Labour government headed by Gordon Brown at the time that these girls, these 11 and 12-year-old girls, were making a lifestyle choice and not to investigate any further? Even the Pakistani lawyer who handled the grooming gang cases at the time put that information out in 2017. How can you make a lifestyle choice at 11 and 12? How can you decide you want to be gang raped? How can you decide you want to be punished by being urinated on because you haven't lived up to your expectations of being gang raped? How can you be raped with a broken bottle because you refused? In fact, you begged them to stop. How is that making a lifestyle choice? What sort of soulless people have been in charge of our systems to allow Britain to descend in this debaucherous system that's allowed this to happen? So I see Tommy Robinson as a man who tried to speak out and warn people about what's happening, and suddenly the world and his brother is commentating on it. I see, personally, Tommy Robinson as a political prisoner being dealt with harshly because what he has to say would unravel a den of iniquity.